John Sloan speaking to Scott Malone, who will face Adam Wilson in a bantamweight bout at Cage Warriors 112 in Manchester on March the 7th. Scott, no better place to start this interview than where we're sitting just now. Omega MMA, you know, your head coach at your very own training facility. You opened this place back in mid-November. Talk me through what it's been like. I mean, how much of a difference has this made to your life? How challenging has it been? And overall, like, how much do you rate this decision that you've made to start this project?
This has probably been one of the best decisions in my life, to be honest. It's been hard work. Everything's been hard work. It's slowly starting to build, but I think now we're at the place where it's like everything's pretty much done. There's a couple of things that need done in the change rooms and that, but other than that, like, everything's coming together really good. We've got our cage, we've got our gym side sorted, everything's good. The people in here are amazing as well, so that helps. And it doesn't feel like I'm working, which is what I wanted. I want to just be happy. Like, being happy to me is one of the main things. When I come in here and coach, I'm happy. You know what I mean? I'm happy seeing guys that I'm coaching that I'm improving, so that makes me happy.
What have the challenges been, you know, since you started this? Obviously there's financial challenges, but also has it been difficult as you've got into camp to kind of balance in the coaching role and, you know, progressing your actual fight camp? Because, you know, I've seen the timetable here and you're head coach for most of the classes. Has that been difficult to get the balance right?
Yeah, definitely. I've done a lot of my training like during the day now, so I'll train during the day, enhance sport performance usually. I'll train with the guys, do Scotch Hit Squad. I've been going through Alex Nedden's as well. So I get some training during the day, and when I'm here, I can still do things. I mean, just because I'm coaching doesn't necessarily mean that I can't do nothing. I'll usually coach, especially this fight camp. I've been doing things that I want to be learning anyway, so I'll be coming in and working the things that I want to work, and they're now working them as well. So it's a wee bit selfish for me, but I think it's going to improve their game either way. So.
I was going to ask about that before when you were doing the scaffolding. It kind of seemed like with MMA, you know, you were 1 foot in, 1 foot out.
Yeah.
It seemed like you had to go to work, you had a family to take care of, and MMA was just the kind of thing that if you had a spare couple hours at the end of the day, you put your time into that. You know, it definitely took a back step in your life.
Yeah.
Do you feel as if coaching is improving your game overall because you're seeing things, you're analysing things, you're seeing angles, and you're learning as you're coaching as well? I mean, do you think that's going to develop your game even further?
Definitely. I've noticed when I'm coaching, I'm always looking for new material to coach. I'm not want to be as just one thing, one look. You know what I mean? Obviously, I've got my own things that I do, but I don't want to just be these things that I do. I want to get other looks on things as well. So I'm always looking on the internet and stuff like that, just for like material to use to coach. And obviously, when you're coaching, you break things down. You break everything down. You're now learning that move just that extra wee bit more. Some wee details that you might have just done naturally, you've got to now break that down to other people so they understand it. So it's helped me loads, I think.
Yeah, completely. I mean, this is going to sound like a bold question, but you know, your last fight, obviously getting finished for the first time with strikes in your career, 49 seconds. Bit of an obvious question, but what was it like?
I don't know, don't remember. After it was shit.
I mean, I was going to ask, you know, you said after the Jack Shore you had some demons to face personally. You know, you went through quite a dark period. Was it the same this time, or was it slightly
It was
easier?
worse. I think getting beat from Jack Shore, I kind of accepted it. He's a nice guy, and he's a really talented guy as well. It's just the way I got beat from Jack Cartwright, like within a minute. You know what I mean? It was more frustrating for me because I felt like that's the best I've ever felt. It was a shit weight cut, but I'm not going to say it was down to that, but it could have been. And I'm not going to make any excuses. He caught me and he's got good power, so that's what happened. But the weight cut, I failed weight the first time. Had to end up going back, and I failed again, and then I had to go back and eventually made it. That could have played a factor, but like I say, I'm not going to sit here and make excuses about anything. He caught me, and he caught me cold, and he caught me good. But after it was hard to deal with. Especially obviously just before Christmas and stuff, times were hard anyway, you know what I mean? So it was a wee bit, I was in a dark place again, but I feel like I'm on the right track to get back up there.
Was it particularly frustrating, because obviously with Jack Shore, you've got a bit of a demon for the name Jack, but Jack Shore, you know, you went almost the 3 full rounds with him, you had your moments in that fight, there were certainly a lot of positives to take away. Was the particularly frustrating thing about the Cartwright loss the fact that you essentially didn't get to fight? The fight was over before it had even properly begun, in terms of a back and forth exchange.
Yeah, 100%. That's exactly what that annoyed me the most, because I felt so good and everything in camp was great. It was perfect. Just to get beat like that, it's sort of basically kicking the balls. You know what I mean? It's not nice, but that's the fight game. You learn from it. What I've took from that fight is get my weight down a lot more. I'm not wanting to have a shit weight cut again. I'm already lighter than I was fight week now, and I have been since maybe 2 weeks ago. I think I was coming into the fight week about 69 kilos or something last time, and I'm already, right now I'm sitting at like 68 kilos, and I was down to 67 and a half, but had a wee bit of a Chinese during the week, so yeah, but now my weight's getting back down again, so which is good.
I interview you round about the same time every camp, and there's been times where I've seen you like before the Jack Shore fight and I've thought, whoa, he looks big, he looks heavy. I mean, what do you think the weight was down to? Was it just complacency on your part? You know, the fact that you could cut all this weight in water the night before, you just kind of would focus on training and the nutrition would take a back step perhaps?
I think, especially Jack Shore fight, it was because I was working. So when I'm working at scaffolding, you get up early and you go to a roll shop in the morning before you go and, you know what I mean? And then you've got your tea break, and then you're going to eat some more shit, and then when you're scaffolding you need to eat. Constantly hungry because you're lifting all day, you know what I mean? So you need that sort of fuel, and I think I maybe gained a wee bit of size as well, just because I was lifting a lot. So when you're scaffolding, you're constantly punting up, so your shoulders get that extra bit bigger. But now I've went vegan. I'm now been vegan for almost 3 months now, and I feel that that's improved my health, my happiness as well, and just controlling the weight loads. I lost a lot of weight quite quickly at the start when I first went. I wouldn't say I'm vegan, because I'm plant-based.
Right, okay.
So I'm not. I'll still wear leather shoes, stuff like that, but just the whole eating loads of carbs and stuff, you know what I mean? Like, usually my diet would contain of not a lot of carbs, always trying to get that protein in all the time, but now I'm like, when I've been reading up on a couple of things, it's like you don't actually need that much protein. I mean, everybody's like, where do you get your protein from being a vegan? But for me, with things I've read anyway, it's you don't actually need that much protein. You've got a certain amount of protein that you need today. I think it's 50 grams or something, 35 to 50 grams, and still managing to get that in.
Obviously, I know your wife's vegan. What influenced that decision overall? I mean, was durability and your cardio, did that play any role in your decision to become vegan?
I've always sort of thought about it. My wife's obviously vegan, so that she's been vegan for 9 years. So I've thought about it. I tried it once before and I was like, nah, can't do this. I've got to eat a big bit of steak or chicken. But I watched Game Changers. I know there's a lot of controversy around that, but I watched Game Changers and it did actually change my mind about things, made me look on it different. And since then I just decided to give it a try, and I've honestly never felt fitter. Like even 2 weeks ago I was training and I just felt like I could just keep going and keep going and keep going and keep going. And that's what I want. I feel like my fitness sort of let me down a couple of times in fights, so now now my weight's under control, my fitness is under control, and I feel like this is probably going to be the best me. You know what I mean?
I've seen on social media quite often when you're talking about this fight, there's an emphasis on you and yourself. I've noticed you're saying, I'm not doing this to prove my worth and my talent to anyone else. I'm only competing now to prove to myself how good I am.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that? I mean, do you think at times in your career you've perhaps thought more about what other people think of you and your skill level? Or?
Not really. It's just like, because you're coming off 2 losses, well, I'm coming off 2 losses.
Self-doubt.
You start to doubt yourself, and you start to think, is this the right career for me? Am I too old? Should I just be a family dad? You know what I mean? Like, you start to think all these things, and then, but at the end of the day, I'm happy doing this. This is what makes me happy, and before I started this fight camp, I was pretty depressed. I was like fucking feeling shit all the time. As soon as I started training again and started getting in the routine of things, I started just feel instantly happier. Going vegan as well, again, that helped me just feel happier, and that's again, this is just for me. It's not for anybody else. I want to win this fight for me. Whereas I always felt like I sort of had to prove myself to other people to get into the places where I want to be. But this is just for me to win, and there's no any other way it's going to go.
Well, let's talk Adam Wilson. You know, sometimes when people are coming off 2 losses, particularly in Cage Warriors, they'd perhaps seek, you know, turn down the first few opponents and seek someone that they thought, you know, they could make a statement over in order to kind of get their name back out there in a positive regard again. You've not done that, you know. In this fight, you're facing a prospect who there's a lot of hype about, and it's kind of the atypical. I mean, it's the admirable way to do things, but it's kind of the non-typical way to do things. What was your decision on that? I mean, were you just of the mindset, I'll take whoever they offer me because when I believe I'm my best, you know, no one can beat me.
I've always wanted fights. You know what I mean? I've always been that guy where people have been dodging me. So I'm not going to dodge anyone else because I know exactly how it feels. I think Adam's had a good few pull-outs as well. So
he has, yeah. 3 last year, I believe.
And that proves how good he is. You know what I mean? And I'm not going to take him lightly. Although he's only 4-0, he is a tough fight, and that's exactly why guys are probably going to dodge him, because his record's not great. They've got nothing to gain from that.
And his skill level's high.
Yeah, but I see him as a fighter rather than his record. I see that he's a good fighter, and again, this is for me. So I need to know that I could beat these guys that are 4-0 and like that have the lower records. Or what is the point? You know what I mean? For me to go and beat a guy that's like had more losses than he has wins, what am I gaining from that? You know what I mean? I want to be the best fighter, and fighting better guys or guys of the same level is going to help me, rather than fighting all these bums and getting a good record. Because eventually it's going to bite you in the ass. You know what I mean? You're going to end up getting all these. You're going to have a great record, but you fought shit. So then you end up getting like one really hard guy, and you get absolutely demolished. You know what I mean? There's levels. You've got to fight these guys to get up there.
And what do you think of his overall game? You know, next gen, still, I'd say it's still predominantly reputable for being a predominantly grappling gym. But you know, he's showed fluent, good striking. You know, he's a rangy guy. What do you think are the main threats to be aware of with him?
Definitely his range. His fucking arms are longer than my body, man.
Yeah.
I think, was he 5'11" or something?
Yeah, I believe he's just under 6 foot. Yeah.
He's a tall bantamweight, a really tall bantamweight. So that was probably going to be hard to deal with. But my game plans, I've came into the game plan working around that and been getting like big guys into spar with like longer guys, working on things. And yes, I mean, these are the challenges that are always going to be set. Everybody's going to be different when you step in there. He's just got that extra length, and it'll be me that has to deal with that. You know what I mean?
Contractually, this is your last fight with Cage Warriors. I mean, win or lose, have you thought anything about what you would like to do next? I mean, Jack's obviously headlining the cards, maybe talks for a rematch if you could get a win or 2 in Cage Warriors, but I'm sure there's other offers elsewhere. We've seen Ross Houston just vacate his Cage Warriors title, you know, to look at alternative offers. What are your thoughts on that? Are you not thinking beyond the fight on March 7th?
I'm taking this fight first before I look at anything else. But in the long run, I think I'd like to fight on one championship.
Right.
That would be.
You said that consistently for years. I mean, why does that one stick in your mind so much?
It's the whole culture, the whole way they do things. It's like everything's respect. It's all. They go out there and they fight guys, and they're all respectful after it, and they're respectful before it. There's no trash talking. I'm not any good at trash talking, so.
No.
For me, that appeals to me. The whole sort of Asian culture, like all the buildings, fucking, all the dragons, shit like that all appeals to me. I think it's maybe because I've done judo before, and I've always wanted to go to Japan, stuff like that for judo, and I think that's maybe just stuck in my head. I just love all that sort of thing. You know what I mean? The whole culture, and that's what's sort of drawn me towards that.
Yeah, obviously we don't know what Ross Houston's doing, so we don't want to make assumptions. But you know, Bungard said when he first signed with Bellator that it was particularly important for him to be the first Scottish person to sign for Bellator. I mean, is that something that appeals to you about one championship as well? The fact that you'd most likely be the first professional athlete to ever sign with them from this nation?
Yeah, I think that'd be obviously an added bonus. But even if, like, say, Ross did get signed with them, then I'm going to look at that positively and be like, he's got his foot in the door. That could possibly help me.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah.
It was the same obviously when like Robert Whiteford got in the UFC. That opened doors for other Scottish guys to get in the UFC. Chris Bungard got on a Bellator, which opened doors for like Chris Duncan and stuff like that as well. So it always helps when other guys get in there, but I'd like to be the one that's going to be opening doors for other people, rather than the other way around. But like I say, I'll take it positively. If he gets in there, then it helps me.
Finally, if you've got any sponsors or training partners or anyone from here that you'd like to help, or if you want to give anyone any information about Omega MMA in Perth, then the floor is yours.
So I'd like to just obviously say thanks to all my sponsors. I've got most of them on here. This is an old banner, but I've got Hellcat, Skyline, Forsythie, Paul Patrick Plumbing Heating. More importantly, I've got Enhanced Sport Performance. He does all my strength and conditioning, helps me out, weight cuts, stuff like that. He's always on my back, keeping me in line. We've got Omega, which is the gym. Anybody is welcome to come to the gym. Literally anyone. Okay, this is an open gym. I've said this before about guys that train other places. If you want to come here and train, you can train. There's no egos, nothing like that in here. You can come and train as long as you want, as much as you want, and you can still go away and you can fight for another team, whatever. I don't care. I'm just looking for guys to be in here and train. I've got obviously Team Alpha Male, Python that's just closed down, unfortunately. Scan Fitness Food, I've got Fitness Training Scotland. I'm ignore this one because that's an old CBD company, but I've got Feel Supreme, which is keeping me in line with my CBD. They've given me hemp protein and stuff as well, which is quite good. Well, it tastes like shit, but it's actually quite good for you. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope I've not missed anyone else, but yeah, thank you very much.
Right, thanks Scott. Cheers.